Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. We have the space. Buses and taxis in the corporate area to be relocated for new school year. Opposition wants surgeon shortage at St. Bay Hospital dealt with on an emergency basis. And later in sports, Sharika Jackson considers return to 400 meters. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. There is capacity. The Transport Authority says weeks ago an effort was made to relocate some of the coaster buses operating in the vicinity of the HWT Transport Centre. And an assessment showed that the relocation has been working well and that there is space within the Transport Centre to accommodate more buses. Halsheen Burke reports.
Addressing the weekly post-cabinet media briefing this morning, Chairman of the Transport Authority, Owen Ellington, said there will be a meeting with transport operators Wednesday to discuss a proposal to relocate buses that travel from Constant Spring and Red Hills Road. The plan is to have them pick up passengers inside the transport centre.
In support of this, we intend to erect a lot of directional signs in and around the area. These are signs that will guide commuters as to where they can go to board vehicles to their destinations in and around the corporate area. There will also be signs directing public transport operators as to the new locations that they may be required to use to set down and pick up passengers.
He said the general idea is to prevent buses and taxis from stopping in and blocking live lanes as they seek to pick up passengers. Also,
to prevent commuters from having to walk long distances and cross the street, oftentimes putting their safety at risk in order to board taxis and buses. What we want is a system that enables transfer from one modality to the other, all taking place inside of the transport centre. And as I said before, capacity is there for it.
Mr. Ellington said there is the intention to reconstruct the safety guardrails along the roadways in Halfway Tree to enhance commuter safety. And inside the transport centre, proposed monitors to ensure smooth operation.
Time manage the vehicles that come inside there so that there is no clogging of the space. We will time the vehicles once they come in, set down passengers, and we will instruct them as to when they should move on in order to free up the space inside of the transport centre.
There are concerns, however, from some operators about the risk of extortion inside the centre. Mr. Ellington had this to say.
We have invited the Police High Command. We've spoken to the Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime to send members of the organised crime branch to the centre as well, because we are going to commence immediately an assessment of the potential for criminal activities impeding our efforts. And we are committed to taking every step within the law to prevent it from happening.
Halsheen Burke, TVJ News.
A crisis waiting to happen. That's how the opposition has described the absence of surgeons at the St. Bay Hospital, which is managed by the Northeast Regional Health Authority. Shadow spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says the matter is of grave concern as the parish is a hotspot for tourists and fatal road crashes. Details in this report. Shadow spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says the current setup at the St. Bay Hospital is inadequate. He notes that for a hospital which handles a lot of cases from Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, as well as smaller health facilities, it is not acceptable for the regional facility to have one surgical team.
That area of the North Coast, Runaway Bay going on to Discovery Bay, we have had a significant number of motor vehicle accidents on that stretch of the highway. And the nearest hospital is St. Anne's Bay Hospital. Can you imagine trauma patients after a motor vehicle accident having to go to St. Anne's Bay Hospital, needing immediate surgery, and everybody have their hands up in the air because there are no surgeons there?
Speaking on TVJ Smile Jamaica on Wednesday, Dr. Guy noted that the lead surgeon, who is the senior medical officer at the facility, is currently on leave, while the other surgeon is currently buckling under the pressure of a 24-hour workload. He is laying the blame on the leadership of the Northeast Regional Health Authority, NERA.
My understanding is that in the last set of general surgery graduates from University of the Hospital, the Northeast Regional Health Authority did not employ one.
But there's an even greater concern.
If they are given, after graduating from university, UWI, as graduate doctors, they can be given a post as a consultant at university hospital, which is a grade 4 in terms of the levels we have. But yet, the regions are offering them grade 2 and grade 1, grade 2 and grade 3, right? Now, this is a significant drop down from what they are expecting, and hence, one who was had an interview with the region was offered a grade 2 position. He said no. He left and went to Falmouth Hospital, where he got a higher grade. So what we have also is inconsistencies across the region in terms of what levels you give these doctors with their qualifications they have.
It's why, he says, there must be guidelines set by the ministry to better provide assistance to the regional health authorities. But until then, Dr. Guy is calling for the recruitment processes to be centralized, especially for senior positions. He says that was highlighted in a review of the country's health sector some years ago, which has still not been published. The United States of America remain the most frequent destination for flights via the Norman Manley International Airport. PAC Kingston Airport Limited, PACAL, shared statistics recently at the first airport forum of 2023 at Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. Prince Moore has
Since
the details.
The start of the year, PAC Kingston Airports Limited's traffic by region data shows that the United States of America continues to dominate as the main market for the Norman Manley International Airport, accounting for more than half of traffic. Cadian Dawes Winter, commercial and car park manager at PACAL, shared the figures.
For year-to-date traffic by region, USA remains our main market with 68%, followed by the Caribbean region with 15%. Next, we have Canada with 8%, followed by UK with 6%.
In 2021, NMIA was at 395,000 in passengers. In July 2022, it rose to 807,000. As at July 2023, approximately 1,012,000.
Since 2023, the traffic in Kingston was above 2019 traffic in January, February, and April. Let's see what's in store for the rest of 2023. We remain optimistic at NMIA.
And as it relates to airport market share for July 2023,
and so far what we're seeing is that JetBlue has a market share of 34%, then American Airlines with 18%. Next, we have Caribbean Airlines with 11%, followed by Spirit Airlines with 6%.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. And it's now time for the Business Minute.
First Rock Group of Companies is reporting total assets valued at $90 million. The group of companies, founded in 2017, says this represents a cumulative annual average growth rate of 60%. First Rock Group employs more than 250 employees in Jamaica, Costa Rica, Guyana, and the Bahamas. Group Vice President of Finance and Planning, Sean Mars, says the expansion is due to regional growth, acquisitions, and prudent management of business activities. Currently, First Rock Real Estate Investment has 3 major developments in train: Hambani Estates, Bon Chance, both in Kingston, Jamaica, and Torres Los Dioses in Costa Rica. Further afield, Credit Suisse says it will reduce the volume of new markets business from September 22, while UBS integrates its former rival. This was highlighted in a letter sent to clients as the 166-year-old firm winds down trading in global securities. The move is a further step along UBS's tricky path to absorbing its fallen rival in the first ever merger of 2 global systematically important banks. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shaneberg.
And just before the healthy living tip, here's another local story. Overwhelmed with joy. That's how the family of 17-year-old Alicia King felt as the teen was airlifted for emergency medical treatment in the United States. Karen Simpson tells us more.
It was an emotional moment for Julian Mendez, stepmother of 17-year-old Alicia King, as the teen was flown to the United States for life-saving surgery. King was doused with gas and set ablaze last Thursday, allegedly by her ex-boyfriend in Linsted, St. Catherine.
Thank you, Jesus.
Her brother Demar King says the family was hit hard by the cruel act. However, he says the family is grateful that help came on time.
I'm sure that she's now in good hands, alright? So I'm happy that all of this was able to get done. She's abroad to get special attention. And I have to say, thanks to the San Bernardino Foundation for helping this, for making this actually a possibility. I'm sure that she's now in good hands, alright? So I'm happy that all of this was able to get done. She's abroad to get special attention. And I have to say, thanks to the San Bernardino Foundation for helping this, for making this actually a possibility.
He described Alicia as fun to be around.
Alicia was such a brilliant girl, right? Sweet individual, caring, loving. When she's around you, you just feel at peace, feel comfortable around her, right? She's always helpful, always mannerable. For something like this to happen to her boy, it's very sad.
It's understood that the teen did her Caribbean secondary education certificate exams this year, and on the day when she was to receive her results, she got burned. The accused ex-boyfriend has been on the run since. The police is appealing to him to turn himself in. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
Here now is a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we'll look at students managing back-to-school stress.
For each person, different people would experience it differently because of the different transitions that they would be doing. So either they're transitioning from, kindergarten into primary or prep school, or between prep school and high school, or between a grade level at high school. And so imagine going into a new environment with new people, in a new space with new teachers. It can be a very stressful time not knowing what to expect.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Start the school sleep schedule early. Be as prepared as possible. Talk about it and stay positive. And finally, be a role model.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, at least 3 major airlines have cancelled all flights to Bermuda as Hurricane Franklin moves closer towards the British overseas territory on Wednesday. The Miami-based National Hurricane Center described Franklin as a large hurricane, adding that tropical storm conditions are expected in Bermuda later today. On the international scene, Idalia made landfall Wednesday as a Category 3 hurricane near Keaton Beach, Florida. The National Hurricane Center said it had maximum sustained winds of 125 miles per hour with even higher gusts. Idalia is now the strongest storm to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend region in the past 125 years. More than 115,000 Floridians are already without power. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has issued an emergency declaration for 49 of the state's 67 counties. And Australians will vote in a historic referendum on October 14 to decide whether to enact an Indigenous voice to Parliament. If approved, the vote would recognize the land's original inhabitants in the country's constitution and establish a permanent body for them to give advice on laws. The country has not had a successful referendum in almost 50 years. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Jordan Ford will have your midday sports report.